I needed to have the correct, I needed to go to the correct one. There we go, it's audio only. Hey everybody, welcome to this audio only edition of the Nerd Glasses podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome.
Hey, and welcome Vladdy. Vladdy, you know how the Nerd Glasses podcast normally starts. I will start off with some sort of pun that makes Dave shake his head and wish that he weren't here. I actually, instead of doing that, I wanted to share what's been making me feel that emotion. And that is that recently I have begun watching as Steph is playing a Professor Layton game. Actually, Ooh. It's Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy, which has that nice long title vibe. Kind of reminds me of Dr. Langeskov, the Tiger and the Terribly Cursed Emerald, A Whirlwind Heist, which Dave and I played for St. Jude a couple years ago. But, all of the character names, if I have my glasses on, I take them off. If I have my glasses off, I just bury my head in my hands. I had a list here of the ones that we've run across so far. There is a film director who is off the beaten path. His name is Maverick D. Rector. His editor is Eddie Torrey. It takes place at that case takes place at a movie theater where the projectionist is named Seymour Frames. And for the last one, there is a murder mystery, but it might not be a murder, but it might be a murder. I don't know. Around two people who are named Vic and Tim.
Vic and Tim.
Vic Tim. You may now bury your head in your hands. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses podcast. I promise a more homegrowner next week, but I just needed to share that. So, yes, Dave is unable to make it tonight. He sends along well wishes, and Vladdy has graciously offered to step in tonight. Thank you very much for being able to drop by tonight.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Vladdy, you've been streaming on Dave's channel, right? Where you've kind of been doing the Weekend Wednesday on DAM 314, yeah?
Yeah, usually from about 7 to 9, I'll stream there, and then raid over to Insane Games TV for the authentic Weekend Wednesday experience.
Hey, it's interesting. You're the warm-up act, but you've got the stage, so I don't know. It's not a bad gig.
No, it's nice. I'm very honored to be a part of it. It means a lot, honestly.
Yeah, it's, as always, the Guaranteed Cult is a great community to be able to do anything with. So,
yeah.
So let's see. We'll start off with a couple of recurring features, and we'll start off with who has Twitch banned. And I did a little bit of looking around, and I couldn't really find anything overly interesting. There's Twitch doesn't comment on bans, and they didn't tell the streamer why exactly he was banned, but this is the Happy Hob, who has been banned for 14 days. And the only reason that I was like, yeah, let's mention this is because he is best known for performing no-hit runs in Dark Souls.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I know who I'm going to be following. I guess that's 11 days from now.
I can barely make it 2 seconds in that game without getting hit. How do they go for runs without getting hit?
I mean, if all you play is one game, you really start to know it. It's like the people that can play Super Mario Brothers blindfolded.
Oh.
They just know.
They count the seconds in between each jump and... Wow.
Yeah, they can smell the frames or something. So yeah, that is Twitch streamer The Happy Hob. It's again, there are some weeks where this is just nobody comments on anything and he's hoping to be back soon. So 14-day suspension. And so from there we'll just really quick head into what's coming out this week, Vladdy.
We got a whole 3 games coming out this week.
Oh man, hold on to your seats.
Yeah. The first one is the 11th. It's Little Nightmares 2.
Okay.
It's coming out for Windows, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. It is a puzzle platformer and survival horror game.
Oh, a horror puzzle platformer. Okay, I'm interested.
Yeah. I'm down for that. I might have to give that one a go.
Yeah.
The next one is Gal Gun Returns. This one is coming out for the Switch and Windows. It came out in Japan on January 28th and is now coming out the 12th in the States.
Okay.
This is a rail shooter where you play as, I believe, a high school student, and you are shooting Doki Doki bombs at like high school ladies.
Okay, I just saw this box art. That's that's something special.
Yeah.
Or actually, I guess this is the box art for the original Galgun on 360 because I just clicked the thing in Wikipedia. Let me see if I can find that and show that on screen because that's bound to be something on the incredible side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yep, Sakurazaki Academy.
Yeah.
The apprentice Cupid angel named Patako must shoot an assigned person with a so-called pheromone arrow in order to graduate.
Okay.
They targeted the protagonist, Tenzu Motasuji, a second-year male student with a crossbow, in hope of getting a girlfriend when shot with an arrow, as she claimed he has no experience with the girls. Aww.
Yeah, I mean, sorry for the rather quick. Oh, I don't have an easy way to bring something on screen, but yeah, that's the art for Galgun Returns. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
What else? What's the last one? You said we got 3 coming out this week.
Yeah, the last one is actually the one I might have to stream. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
Nice.
Again, like the original came out in 2013, but they got the Bowser's Fury updating it. It's Mario, It's Mario.
It's
you
Mario.
Can play as Peach and Toad.
Yeah.
You're saving, I believe, fairies.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's more. You more or less know what you're in for. If you like Mario, hey, you're gonna like this.
Yeah.
Cool.
And besides that, and of course, like the 50 games coming out on Steam, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean this is kind of the bigger ones certainly. But yeah, it's and then it's like I check my wish list. Is there anything coming out on Steam? No, okay, we'll move on from there. So actually, we'll start off news-wise. We were saying, oh yeah, it's Nintendo and Mario. Like, what's Nintendo doing right now? Well, they're releasing Mario and they're in trouble for Joy-Con drift. We covered that last week. We talked about Joy-Con drift, and someone. As much as how they came into the world, someone's looking at them and saying, you know what? I want a part of that. And that's PlayStation.
Oh.
Because apparently PS5 controllers are now starting to succumb to drift. Yeah, the DualSense controller, that awesome controller that the PS5 has with the haptic feedback and adjustable pressure, everything like that. The joysticks don't stay centered all that well. The console has been out for 3 months, and this is already setting in. This isn't like... It's one thing if, oh yeah, I've had the console for 3 years, I've used the controller for 20 hours a week, every week since then. That's one thing. No, it's been 3 months, and already they're getting drift.
Wow.
and it appears to be hardware because people, turn the controller on and off. They resync it. They totally reset the controller. And yeah, people uploading videos showing it. So there's a contact page for PlayStation, but considering how early this is setting in, I think we're going to be hearing more about this as it goes on. Like, who knows? This could just be a couple people out the gate, and then they fix up the controllers kind of quietly as new ones come out and end up fixing it. But it could also happen that, like, this dropped, I don't know, today, so we could be hearing more about it in the coming weeks. So I guess we'll find out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really hoping that they don't do what Nintendo did and stall on it for a really long time. Yeah.
Ignore it forever. It's not a problem. You're doing it wrong.
Oh. Let's see.
Okay, so I'll pass the baton back to you. I know we've got a lot of.
All right.
We've got, like, some of this is just like, yeah, here's news, here's a thing, let's pass the baton. We have a few more, like, conversation topics that we'll get to later in the program, but I think we're gonna kind of zip through some of these easy ones first.
Sounds good. So
go ahead.
As you know, Google Stadia has just been so great. I love it. Everything about it.
So you have? Do you have a Stadia? Have you played?
I don't. I thought about getting it for free and doing, like, the trial, but even that is just too much work for me.
Yeah, we talked last week. For those who weren't with us last week, we did talk about how Stadia is shutting down its internal development teams, but does plan to still support the console and supporting third-party games being brought to it.
Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, it looks like one game will not be coming to it. Yeah. And that would be Terraria.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big name. I mean, it's not like Call of Duty level big, but it's still, like, not small fry.
No, not at all. I think, oh my gosh. I read somewhere that they have, like, had at least 20 million people play the game, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, so this is, not being overly familiar with Terraria, is it like it's the game and then it's out on different consoles and people can play together, like Minecraft kind of thing? Or is it like, oh yeah, the latest installment in the series?
It's fascinating. I had a roommate a long time ago who really loved Terraria when it was still fresh in his pocket, and they could do so much. It was like, I would call it the Stardew Valley of Minecrafts.
Okay.
Where there's so much you can do. It's so, like, unlimited in scope. And yet it's like 2D, scaled down a little bit more. Lots of opportunities for insane stuff to happen. Like, they were doing dungeon crawls and
okay.
My gosh. Yeah.
And so, really popular on a ton of different platforms, and it was going to be brought to Stadia, and now, nope.
Yeah, it's funny. The reason given by Andrew Spinks, the creator, is that he was locked out of all of his accounts in mid-January, of all of his Google accounts.
Oh.
And has lost, like, all of his Google Drive data, thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play.
Oh my God.
He can't access his YouTube channel. His Gmail address, he's lost access to. His last tweet on it was, "I absolutely have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Terraria for Google Stadia is canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward."
Wow. Oh my God. Like, it's one thing.
Yeah.
If it was hacked and then they worked with them to get it back and, and restore, the YouTube channels and everything like that. But just, like, that has that effort not been made, or like what's the story there? Like that he lost all that stuff.
He apparently brought this to Google's attention around the 16th of January,
Yeah.
and he claims that Google has done nothing but given me the runaround.
Wow.
Yeah. The let's see, February. It was announced February 1st that that the Google development studio was closing, but
Yep.
it was 2 days ago when fans had noticed that Terraria was given a rating and a release date for Google Stadia. So this is very fresh.
Yeah.
Um, oh my gosh, I feel for this man. I hate being locked out of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you lose access to the Google ecosystem, that is disastrous to your online presence most of the time. Like, my online presence is probably evenly split between stuff locked behind Facebook, stuff locked behind Google, and stuff locked behind Microsoft 365 Live, whatever you call it. But like, it's easy to be all in on Google or all in on the Apple ecosystem, and if you lose access and they don't help you get it back, that is a lot of work to get it back, like to get back to where you were. Just email for the first thing, but then like YouTube, which I'm sure he had a following. I don't know if that was like Terraria's official YouTube kind of thing or what, but there's a lot there. And then like probably a lot of development documents in his Google Drive. That's absurd that's just gone, and that like that's high enough profile. Someone should have been like, we gotta help this guy. Please send proof of identity, and okay, here's your stuff back.
Yeah. You'd think somebody would have come across him and been like, oh, it's the Terraria guy.
Yeah, or even just, a user being like, hi, I've lost access to my stuff, please help me get it back. You would expect Google would know how to do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something.
Okay, wow. Yeah, I'm a little speechless after that. So, Terraria is not coming to Stadia. There's beef.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm reading some of the comments, and people are just sympathizing with poor Andrew.
Yeah. So one thing that of course always happens with us having a weekly show is that very often news comes out about an hour after we go offline. I'm in the middle of the Citadel, and then something happens. Like, say, Gearbox Studios being bought by Embracer Group, which is one of those companies that exists to own other companies.
Oh.
It's a Swedish company that also owns THQ Nordic, so they do already have some game development stuff under their umbrella. But more or less, it's something where, like, Gearbox was doing just fine on their own, but it's like, hey, here's an infusion of cash. You have some corporate overlords that you do need to report to, but, they're hoping that they can use this to expand operations. It says add new studios and staff, so I don't know if they plan on, how, like, BioWare has 4 different studios. I don't know if they plan on doing that with Gearbox, where, like, it's a Gearbox game, but maybe this one's developed by, I don't know, Gearbox Nordic, and whatever. So, it's interesting because, like, most of the time, I got really scared when I first saw this, because a lot of the time when you see game developer bought, you're like, oh no, who's going to shut them down 5 years from now? Like, I forget who we were talking about last week, but also when ZeniMax was bought by Microsoft, it's like, okay, so 5 years from now, ZeniMax, Bethesda, and everything under that umbrella is going to have less of its own identity, and stuff can kind of get shut down and shuffled around, whatever. And it's like, oh no, that happened to Gearbox, but it's like, they're not really owned by anyone else in the gaming. Like, they haven't been bought by a publisher. They haven't been, like, merged with another developer. Just a company that owns companies now owns that company.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know, Gearbox, good luck. Hope going forward. I don't really... let's see, the initial purchase price was $363 million, half in cash and half in shares of Embracer, that parent company, with a further $1 billion to be paid if Gearbox are able to hit, quote, agreed financial and operational targets in the next 6 years.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what those targets are. There was a statement from 2K, which is the publisher that they work with a lot, specifically with Borderlands, and they say that, quote, as the proud publisher of the Borderlands franchise, we're happy for our partners at Gearbox. ... The merger does not change 2K's relationship, nor our role as the publisher for the Borderlands IP. We look forward to continuing our relationship. So.
All right.
Like, and it's interesting timing, because Dave and I talked a little bit about Battleborn being shut down last week, and that was a Gearbox game. So
yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. In 6 years from now, we'll see how Gearbox is doing. I first became aware of Gearbox when they published. When they developed Opposing Force, the first expansion for the original Half-Life game.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, aside from Borderlands, most of the time that I think of Gearbox, I think of them doing stuff with other people's IP. They ended up buying and finishing development on and publishing Duke Nukem Forever, which, in retrospect, terrible idea. But that was something that had been started by someone else and doing that thing. But maybe that's like me not paying attention. I don't know. So maybe with this they'll be able to get a few more high-profile things out. So, like, Borderlands is still doing great for them. I'm seeing casting news for the Borderlands movie every now and then.
Ooh.
So actually, who was announced for that? Let me see here really quick. While I'm on that, Jamie Lee Curtis was added to the cast for Borderlands, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
So, excited for that, and and curious to see how this will go for Gearbox.
Yeah, definitely. I'm used to hearing, like, Tencent having bought some kind of new company.
Oh my god.
So...
Oh yeah, like Tencent is kind of also one of those companies that exist to own other companies. But also Tencent is widely regarded as fucking evil. Whereas I don't know if Embracer has any such cachet or reputation.
With how THQ Nordic publishes games, I'd call it chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
The quality is always weird. Varies depending upon game. Some of them are just, terrible. But yeah, I'm hoping.
Oh god.
I hope the best for Gearbox.
Sorry, I just saw a statement from the CEO of Embracer, Lars Wingeforce. I'm probably mispronouncing that. But go ahead and let's try to count how much corporate buzzspeak we can hear in this. Lars's vision of Embracer as an allied partner group committed to fueling and accelerating the ambitions of a series of decentralized, successful entrepreneurial companies while magnifying the collective value and advantages of diversification across the entire group is the most brilliant strategy and design for short, medium, and long-term success in this industry that I have ever encountered in my 30 years in this industry. Buzzspeak, repeating "in this industry" twice in 10 words. Okay. And sorry, that was the Lars Wingfors that was talking about him. That statement was issued by Gearbox boss Randy Pitchford, who will still be in charge of the studio.
Ah, ah. I'm.
The feeling at Gearbox is that we are just getting started, and this transaction is not merely a stimulant for the talent of our employee-owned company, but a propellant for the exciting future we have planned. But yeah, there was a lot of BS in that first sentence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very corporate.
Yeah. All right, that's enough about Gearbox. Good for them. Hope they do well. Try not to get eaten up.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll root for them, at least for now, until they make another Aliens Colonial Marines, and then I'll hate them for about a year, and then I'll buy whatever Borderlands stuff they shove down my my gullet.
Do you have another one, or shall I move on to, or shall I tease CD Projekt Red?
Oh, I do have another one if you want. It's about a little game called Destruction All Stars for PS5.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that. Did that just come out?
Yeah, February 5th, I believe.
Yeah, that was one that we mentioned last week is coming out. So let's hear about that first.
Well, this story is the epitome of this is why we can't have nice things. About 72 hours after it was released, apparently the game was plagued with a lot of verbal harassment over the voice chat. A lot of problems. Some people were reporting hearing like alt-right podcasts, and there was like intolerant speech and very, very, very bad stuff.
The internet was a mistake.
So, about 72 hours afterwards, after its release, there was a hot fix where they disabled the multiplayer lobby voice communications by default for all players. So you don't have to hear any of that anymore.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a quick fix, and it is something that honestly kind of should be in the game from the start at this point, the ability to mute and everything like that. But like, hey, you know what? They responded quickly. They did a thing. Good for them.
Yeah. It's about as quick as you can get with this kind of stuff, honestly.
Yeah. Is there a reporting system in place?
Let's see.
Like to report harassment and stuff like that?
Apparently not yet.
Okay, so they went for the quick fix now. Hopefully they do get a reporting system in. Because ideally you should be able to be in voice chat in multiplayer games.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, a lot of times in bigger games there's stuff like that. So, I don't know. Hey, good for them for responding nice and quick.
Yeah. See, I just saw something posted to the Discord. I want to open it. Let's see. Oh, little sweet reminder from Mr. Man. Your worth is not tied to your output.
Yay. Thank you, Dave. Still here. Still, I don't know if he's. I don't believe he's watching, but I believe that he's. He has. His spirit is with us, yelling at us for the jokes.
Oh my gosh! You teased Project Red, CD Projekt Red, my favorite. My favorite little bottle of joy.
Yeah, so CD Projekt Red, developer of Cyberpunk 2077 and Witcher 3, was hit a couple of days ago. Sorry, was hit today? Yeah, by a cyber attack. Early today, they're in Europe, so, it might have been like late last night, our time. Basically, someone hacked CD Projekt Red, y'all.
Oh my gosh!
And they posted a tweet with a statement. Yesterday we discovered that we have become a victim of a targeted cyber attack, due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. An unidentified actor gained unauthorized access to our internal network, collected certain data belonging to CD Projekt Capital Group, and left a ransom note, the contents of which we released to the public. Although some devices in our network have been encrypted, our backups remain intact. We've already secured our IT infrastructure and begun restoring data. We will not give in to the demands nor negotiate with the actor, being aware that this may eventually lead to the release of the compromised data. We're taking necessary steps to mitigate the consequences of such a release, in particular by approaching any parties that may be affected due to the breach. We're still investigating the incident, however at this time we can confirm that, to our best knowledge, the compromised systems did not contain any personal data of our players or users of our services. We've already approached the relevant authorities, including law enforcement and the president of the Personal Data Protection Office, as well as IT forensic specialists, and we will closely cooperate with them in order to fully investigate this incident. And I mentioned, they mentioned there that they are making the ransom note public, that they would release that.
I just saw ransom note.
Okay. read_me_unlock.txt. About 20 exclamation marks. Hello, CD Projekt, 20 more exclamation marks. You have been, all caps, epically pwned.
It says your have been epically.
No, sorry, your have been epically pwned.
Oh no.
We have dumped, all caps, full copies of the source code from your Perforce server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3, 3 exclamation marks. We have also dumped all of your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more, exclamation mark. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you can most likely recover from backups. Period. If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how shitty your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower, exclamation mark. You have 48 hours to contact us.
Wow.
So, a couple things. First, this doesn't state what their demands are. I don't know if they put a pinky to their mouth, $1 million, or if they're just like, non-broken copies of the game, please, or everyone who bought a copy for an Xbox One should get a free upgrade to an Xbox Series X, and same for PS4 to PS5. I don't know what the demands are. I don't know if it's lower in this masterpiece of a text document that they just didn't share in the screenshot, but like, if they didn't include the demands, it's like, dude, guy, okay, criminal tip here. A ransom note is a cover letter. You should clearly state your goals.
Yeah.
It's a cover letter for crime.
You have 48 hours to contact us. No email cited, no phone number involved, no ability to contact them.
I imagine that they probably have the contact information, and probably their demands were just not included in that screenshot. But like, it was probably money. Like, they can pretend that it's all about, oh, well, it's because they're such a bad company that we decided to hack into them, whatever. No, it's probably money. And they're, you know, it's like, hey, this company is embroiled in a lot of stuff, and it's a good news thing, and maybe they don't want to have that, so I might have a chance of getting money for it. No, CD Projekt's just, we will not negotiate. And let me be clear, because we're riffing on this a little bit, and I want to keep riffing on it, but let me be clear, this was not okay.
Right.
Like, hacking into a large company and taking documents for HR and accounting, like, I'm sorry, if you took that from my employer, you would have my social security number. You know, you would have my address. You would have so much stuff about me. That's not cool to take that and then to threaten to release that. And yeah, like, people have odd ideas about video game source code, but that is proprietary information that is outright theft, and like, that's not okay. It's no different than breaking into I don't even know, like breaking into a power plant and taking the big turbine or something. It's stealing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just because it's digital data doesn't mean that it's any less real stuff that is being stolen. So we can return to riffing on it, but I wanted to state that pretty clearly. This is not cool.
Absolutely. I'm more laughing at the fact that the criminal perpetrator just your have been epically pwned.
They were very clearly 10 years old 20 years ago and then never grew up.
Because society, they are not.
At best, I'm going to peg them at 15 years old 20 years ago and then never grew up. I was 15
figure out who this was.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that it's not easy, but I think that it's been done before to track down people that have done this kind of thing. And especially if they do actually go through with releasing the data, like that is going to be somewhat easier to trace back as well. I'm not going to say easy, but it's going to give them more avenues to trace them back.
I feel like if they can track the people, the Lizard Squad, who DDoSed, what was it, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on Christmas, they should be able to find whoever wrote this.
Yeah, exactly. Mark2164, this is an audio-only episode today. Vladdy isn't able to hop onto webcam, and I didn't want to have just my face the whole time, so we're audio-only today. But thank you for tuning in. At the moment we're talking about how CD Projekt Red got hacked into. Your have been epically pwned. But yeah, like it is getting more and more. Again, I don't want to say easy because that's underselling it, but it's more and more capable of tracking down digital perpetrators. There are more tools for them to use, but I think that counter hacking, or whatever you call it, is also getting very strong.
Let's see.
And also just like the president of the Personal Data Protection Office. That sounds officious.
Ooh.
So I don't know exactly how because CD Projekt is based in they're based in Poland, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have to stop and think about it because I know that the Witcher series of books was written in Poland in Polish. And so I just have to stop to think, just because CD Projekt developed the Witcher games based on that, am I just projecting that I'm thinking that they're Polish? No, they are also Polish.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Underneath that, there's a cute little story. Elon Musk says Tesla Model S plays Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay. Thanks, Elon. Yeah. Your input has been valuable and appreciated. I can't stand the guy. Every time he opens his mouth now, I just... He's an enthusiast for what he does, and he hires people that are very good at their jobs to make his visions a reality. Mm-hmm. But God, he's so egotistical sometimes.
Yeah?
Although actually that's underselling it a bit. I didn't get the chance to watch it, but I saw a report on something where he sat down with a car engineer that has critiqued the Model 3 a few times before, and they went really in depth as to like some of the manufacturing process and some of the hurdles that they faced along the way. And like Elon does know his stuff. Like Elon as the like maker of stuff, I really like listening to. But as the like figurehead of weird nerds on the internet, and like his ego, I cannot stand.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cyberpunk 2077 will play on the Tesla Model 3. And that center screen that, well, presumably only when parked,
Yeah.
that center screen that's used for everything, which I hate. Your speedometer is off in the little corner over there rather than at eye level. It's cool. We can just get rid of that and have Cyberpunk play on there. And whoops, the penis clipped through the pants again. Officer comes up. What are you doing? Nothing. Do you know how fast you were going? At least 60 frames a second, sir.
Oh my gosh. On the screen, I'm also seeing that they can play Stardew Valley and Cuphead. And it looks like something for Fallout Shelter.
Okay,
I can't make out what the other games are.
So I now have to ask, is it running them as a PC?
It looks like it's just running them as a PC.
Yeah, because I assumed that they didn't like cram an Xbox under the dash.
See, the Model S's center screen is 10 teraflops of processing power.
And yet it sometimes shuts off for no reason.
Yeah. See, the Model S screen is more storage now and easily upgradable.
Yeah, again,
Right.
So I follow jalopnik.com, which is a very irreverent automotive blog. And yeah, they reported about a month ago of just this reporter whose Model 3, like their screen would just turn off.
Oh.
And again, everything is on that screen. Your turn signal indicators, like if your turn signal is left on, whatever, it's there. Your speed, like cruise control stayed enabled, but the display screen showing everything shut off. It rebooted itself about 2 minutes later, I want to say, like 90 or 120 seconds. It rebooted and it was fine. But that's a long time on... Like, that's a long time on the highway. That's a lot of distance to not have any sort of feedback about the car other than what you can feel up through the pedal and the wheel. So it's like, maybe instead of getting a buggy-ass game to run on your car, you fix the bugs in your car first.
Oh. I want to read some of the Twitter comments about...
While you dive down that rabbit hole, so we mentioned Gearbox getting bought by a company that owns companies, and said, well, at least they're not getting bought by like a publisher or something. You may remember that years ago, BioWare bought BioWare bought EA. EA bought BioWare. We would have been a lot better off if it was the other way around. Holy crap. EA bought BioWare. This was like 10 years ago or something that they did this now. Because I remember like the first Mass Effect game came out on Xbox and it was published by Microsoft Game Studios. Then EA bought BioWare and that's when it got its PC release, I think. And by the time of Mass Effect 2, it was an EA game. After Mass Effect was done and they did some Dragon Age, EA was like, hey, so Activision with Bungie have Destiny over there, and we want you to make a Destiny killer. I'm pretty sure that was EA went to BioWare and said, make us something that can compete with Destiny. And BioWare came out with Anthem, which was troubled on launch, has already had like a big refresh to try to clean it up and to try to get it there. It's trying really hard to compete in Destiny's space, which is a high. It's a tall task. It's a high barrier there, but they tried to do it, and just every step of the way, Anthem was always behind Destiny. Like there are other loot shooters and like massively multiplayer shooters that other people can play, but none of them are trying to be Destiny. Anthem is trying to be Destiny. It's trying to out-Destiny Destiny. And so Bloomberg released a a report yesterday saying that in a call later this week, that EA is pretty much going to figure out if they're going to cancel Anthem. Because they've kind of figured out that, okay, if we are going to take the next steps that it's going to take to get this game where we want it to be, to get it to that Destiny level and to have that for EA, this is how much money we need to put into it. And so, like, last year they were talking about Anthem 2.0, and that hasn't come out yet. Like, a big release that is going to fix the game. Like, No Man's Sky, when it came out, was awful. It wasn't awful, but it was disappointing. But over time, they released the updates, and they had a really huge one called No Man's Sky Next that overhauled things and got it to a point where people are like, yeah, I like this game, and I like to play this game. Anthem 2.0 just hasn't come out yet, and they keep on realizing more things that they need to do with it. So right now, this is news of news to come. Anthem, by podcast time next week, Anthem may have been announced to be winding down. They may have an end date for it, or they may say, no, we're gonna throw that more money into it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I bought Anthem a while ago for like $8 on Origin. I haven't touched it at all because I just had zero interest in it.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've heard that parts of it are good. Like, the jetpack mechanics in it work really well. They're like, oh yeah, it totally nails the feel of flying around in an Iron Man suit. Like, the gameplay is good. The story is why bother, which is really disappointing from a BioWare game.
I don't know. I feel like BioWare is going to succumb to the same fate as Visceral Games, where they put out a couple games, they don't really do anything. Eventually, they make the next Battlefield game, and it does mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, it's like BioWare has their shtick and their IPs, but like they have two big enemies, and one of them, they're coming from above and below. One of them is EA. EA orders their games now. BioWare doesn't get to say, "Hey, we're working on this." EA goes like, "Okay, now we'll allow you to work on a new Mass Effect game." And then the other enemy is the fans. Because Mass Effect Andromeda got way too much heat coming out the gate from rabid fans. Already I'm seeing people, like, a lot of people are excited for the Legendary Edition for the Mass Effect trilogy, but already people are like, I don't know, and like nitpicking parts of it. It's like, it's not even out yet. I hear it with Dragon Age sometimes too, and again, like, whether it's the fans of Anthem that are being vocal about it, I don't know. So they're between a rock and a hard place between the fans and EA, and I think sometimes I feel like the best thing for BioWare would be to go independent again, because they've got multiple studios. They've got like BioWare Montreal and stuff like that. I think if they downsize to like a one studio operation, and regained their autonomy, that would probably be the best for them as far as seeing good BioWare games. But without the backing of a publisher or as much workforce, they may be smaller scale games. I don't know. And I don't know how often we actually see a studio buying itself back out from under an overlord. Usually, what happens instead is, well, BioWare died, but the really good developers have started their own new studio independently, and so the cycle continues.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it might be because EA is like, yeah, we're gonna have you develop a Battlefield game. Well, that was garbage. Okay, bye.
Yeah. uh,
The last news item I have. How familiar are you with the Shadow of Mordor games? Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
I loved Shadow of Mordor.
Okay.
I never played Shadow of War.
Okay. I haven't played Shadow of Mordor. Steph has. But the Nemesis system. Can you give me a quick overview of how that works?
Okay. The basic gist of the Nemesis system is that there are sort of like mini bosses, like Ogrish the Ogre. And if you die to Ogrish the Ogre, they can basically take their fold into like the system of enemies that you could potentially face in the game. And it's this hierarchical structure that they beat other enemies or they die to someone else, and it tries to build a sort of organic story through watching your failure lead to the success and future involvement of this new enemy.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I died a couple times to enemies, and it was so frustrating to watch them like succeed and move up into the world of orcs and absolutely dominate the others, and then eventually I would find my way to them again. They would taunt you based on like, oh, I thought I killed you, and then finally the thrill of success when you actually defeat them.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And WB, the publisher, said, that's so cool, we're going to patent that.
Oh.
They apparently have been trying for a few years. Shadow of Mordor came out in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
In 2014.
Yeah.
And WB Games, after some time of trying to file for a patent and being told, that's too broad. Well, how about this? No, that's not specific enough. They finally got a version through where the patent office is like, yeah, only WB Games can now make games with that mechanic.
Those mad lads.
Which sucks. Because, like, it's a really cool idea, and I feel like in entertainment, an idea like that, like, it's not technology that's used to do it. It's not like patenting the game engine. It's an idea that manifests itself in the entertainment that is experienced. And so I feel they shouldn't have been able to patent that. It's like if first person shooters had been patented by id
Or
Software.
like potato chips were patented.
Yeah. Like, but like imagine how different gaming would be if id Software had patented first person shooters.
True.
Or yeah, just like trying to think of different mechanics. You know what? You know what I wish had been patented so that people wouldn't be able to use it? Loot boxes. I wish someone had said like, yeah, we're gonna patent that. That nobody else can do that. Oh no.
Oh darn it.
Yeah, so they now have been awarded the patent, which they can maintain through 2035,
Oh my gosh.
For 15 years, they're the only ones that can do that. And they haven't been doing anything else with it since Shadow of War came out in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I would have liked to see more other developers trying to do that kind of thing, because you see that in the narrative of games. I was going to use Mad Max as an example. That's published by WB Games. Because at the start you fight Scabrous Scrotus and put a chainsaw through his skull, and he kicks you off of his awesome truck, and then you meet him later, and he's still got the chainsaw embedded in his skull, and he's like, "I thought I killed you," and it's this big scripted thing. And what you're telling me about the Nemesis system is that, but all procedural, and unique for each player as they go through their game. And that is such a cool idea that I would love to see more games made around that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine doing that with Dark Souls bosses. Didn't I kill you like 20 times?
I thought you were dead.
I got better.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm hoping that the Lord of the Rings Gollum game will be, if it is published by WB, I'm not sure if it is or not.
I'm sorry, the what?
Yeah, yeah. You didn't know about the Lord of the Rings Gollum game that's coming out?
They hide it from us. They don't tell us everything.
Daedalic
Tell us
Entertainment
about it.
is actually going to be making this one.
Sorry, who's making it?
Daedalic Entertainment. They
Sounds
made a bunch
familiar.
of point-and-click adventure games.
Oh, okay.
And they made the Deponia series.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Let's see. I'm trying to see what else. Some of the games. Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, and 2018's State of Mind. Okay. All right. Yeah, they're basically going to make a game with Gollum in it, and he's going to be you're going to play as Gollum. And that's...
Perfect.
That's pretty much all we know about it.
That's all we needs to know.
Oh man.
On that note, I think that brings us to our time.
Yeah. So
Apologies
gonna be playing?
apologies to Death Stranding that we couldn't get to you again. But yeah, so as people may have been able to tell from the style of pre-roll, for the third week in a row, because of weather, we are streaming from the home studios.
Mm-hmm.
And because I haven't had the chance to stop into the studio and swap around any games or anything, I will be playing Brutal Legend for the third week in a row. Heaven help me. I don't mind the game, but I don't want to play it once a week. That's too often. Like, most of the games on the Citadel, I'm like, I want to play it more, but no, I need to space it out with the other games, whatever. This one, I'm like, please let me play something else. It's fine. It's a great Citadel game because I get to complain about what parts are making it not work and what parts are working, and that's more or less what I try to go for with the Citadel. And it's a not great game, so we have a lot to talk about. So if you want to join in on that academic discussion of a video game, or just hear me yell about it because it's doing things stupidly, this is not how you play a real-time strategy game, then tune into the Citadel. What's going to happen is, of course, that we will go offline here at the Nerd Glasses podcast when we say see ya, and about a minute later, the Citadel pre-roll will be up, going for about 10 minutes, giving you enough time to grab some popcorn, maybe. I want popcorn. I don't think we have any popcorn in the house. I'll have to grab a soda then, maybe. I'll have to do something. And after that pre-roll, we will be playing Brutal Legends. So be sure to stick around right here, twitch.tv/insanegamestv_ for that. And meanwhile, tomorrow there's a whole lot of stuff here at Insane Games TV, Retro Wednesday, The Dream Team, and the Weekend Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And of course, if you want to see more from Vladdy here, you can catch him over at twitch.tv/DAM314 with the Weekend Wednesday pregame, or whatever you call it, at 7 o'clock Eastern.
I'm still not sure what to call it, honestly. I just call it the Weekend Wednesday kickoff, but
there you go.
Pregame is perfect, you know?
Yeah. Or just as the warm-up act.
yeah. And it
the hype man, you gotta get the crowd going. All right, let's do that raid.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. If I had an actual air horn in here, I think Steph would come down and hit me. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. This has been the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Vladdy, thank you so much for joining tonight and stepping in where Dave was unable to hop in.
And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, and I hope to see some of you fine folks on the Citadel right after this. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night. Hi, more like rigor mortis. Welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast, and goodbye. See ya!